The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday. Happy Friday to all. I woke up this morning with a very heavy question on my mind. Does America really care about the injustices against Black people? If I would have asked myself this question last year, I started to believe they did. There was so many changes, so many statements by corporations, so many nonprofits who stepped up to do the right thing. But this morning, I have a lot of doubt. And the reason being is because I feel like there are so many contingencies when it comes to even believing the injustices against Black people. Think about it. How many cases of police killings were you outraged about that didn't have body camera footage? Right? So we get upset when it's caught on camera, but if it's just the word of a Black person, it's water under the bridge. And we're seeing this play out in real time right now with the case of Winston Smith. He was killed last week, Thursday, by a U.S. Marshal, and this incident was not caught on camera. The first narrative by the media was that this was a murder suspect. That was not true. The second thing that we heard from law enforcement was that this man had a gun. And so now seeing gun violence plague our communities and seeing the Black community divided, people were starting to feel maybe that the police did the right thing with this particular individual. And there was no body camera footage, no dash cam footage, no cell phone footage to prove anything otherwise. But yesterday, for the first time, we heard from the only eyewitness. She spoke out through her attorneys for her own safety and her own mental health. She made a very big statement yesterday through her attorneys. I want you guys to take a listen to what her attorney said yesterday in regards to this case that I believe is truly a game changer. Take a listen.
On behalf of our client, who is the individual who is the passenger inside the vehicle during the shooting of Winston Smith, we issue the following statement. We ask the public to respect her privacy and her desire to heal as she is recovering from this profound trauma. Secondly, she never saw a gun on Winston Smith, and she never saw a gun inside the vehicle at any time. Listen!
So if Winston Smith didn't have a gun, why are we not outraged? Why are we not demanding justice in the same capacity that we did when we found out that our brother George Floyd was killed after having a knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds? Why is the media not sensationalizing these headlines after this community, specifically Minneapolis, has been plagued with police killing after police killing after police killing? And don't tell me it's because this case was done by a U.S. Marshal. I think that when you look at a federal level, shouldn't they be held on a higher standard? And shouldn't this raise broader questions, not just about local police departments, but all law enforcement agencies across the board? Joining me now to discuss is New York Times bestselling author Resmaa Menakem and radio show host Lissa Jones. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. I'm wondering, both of you guys have centered injustices against Black people in your work so much over the years. What is your take on the response that America has, or the lack thereof, to this specific case?
Sister Lissa.
Bless you. Good morning, Georgia. Thank you for having me. And good morning, Resmaa.
Yeah.
Brother Resmaa.
Good to see you.
Georgia, James Baldwin said, we are trapped in history, and history is trapped in us. We know from historical context into the present that white people don't stick with Black Death very long. We know that the North didn't want to police the South any longer. Thus, we don't have the Freedmen's Bureau and 40 acres, which was actually 2 mules, not 1. But we don't have reparations in any real way because the North got tired of policing the South. I think when Chauvin received the verdict of guilty, many white people, particularly here, thought that was the end of the gig, that was it, that was all. That was atonement for everything that happened before and, frankly, everything that happened after. And I think that Mr. Smith is a casualty of white tired, I guess, white giving up, white deciding that it's not worth it. So that's my initial take.
Yeah. I think that what we're dealing with, and I think Sister Lissa said it so beautifully, is that we're dealing with what white people kind of perceive as fatigue, right? They feel white people are so tired of what's going on, and they are so fatigued on seeing all of this stuff. They're so fatigued on being surprised all the time when a Black body is murdered in the street. And so one of the things that you're seeing now is that all of those self-declarations that that the white community was saying is something that they were going to do something, they were going to make changes. And what you see is that they were just declarations. They are not backed up by anything. They are not backed up by real change. If you remember when all this stuff started happening, so you interviewed me, George, and I said, don't get fooled by the smoke and mirrors of corporations saying that they're going to put money behind this and they're going to do it. They pledged something like $50 billion to in terms of changing and restructuring the police and equity and all that different type of stuff. And something less than $200 million has actually been given in order to start to make structural change. What you see that happened to Brother Winston is really not episodic, it's structural. And so often we think about these things as they pop up, we think about them as individual things as opposed to exactly how the structure is showing itself to us. And I think as in terms of our community, we have to begin to think about these things. What are the processes and what are the institutions we're going to begin to build that go across these episodes or across these things and see them as structural and not episodic.
When you think about last year, it felt good to know that people cared about us. It felt good to see the world, not just this nation, but the world stand up in solidarity that Black lives matter. And now I'm asking, where are the people who care about Winston Smith? Where are the people who care about the fact that U.S. Marshals in 2021 are not required to wear body cameras, that there is that much lack of transparency in their processes? They don't even have to turn on a body camera when they're deciding to use fatal force. Where are the people who care? Because I don't see them. I don't hear them. And it's frustrating because, Resma, I think you touched on something. You said people are tired. White people are tired. They want to get back to their cabins. They want to get back to, their vacation this summer because the pandemic is almost over. But Black people don't have the luxury to be tired. Right. Because guess what? If I get tired, I might get killed.
Exactly right.
If I get tired and I stop amplifying the stories about the injustices in our community that mainstream media chooses not to cover because there's no body camera footage, if I get tired and I give up and I stop talking about it, then guess what? By the time my daughter is old enough to drive, she might be the next Sandra Bland.
Absolutely.
So we don't have the luxury to be tired. And so I just woke up this morning with this, just wrestling with this question: does America really care about the injustices against Black people? Or is it only when it's caught on camera?
Well, James Baldwin debated William Buckley, who became the father of the conservative movement in England. And the question was, is America America at the expense of the American Negro? Brother Resma teaches us that we center on white body supremacy in this culture. We center on the idea of white supremacy, period. Every day I'm rooting out, is it the white dude on my shoulder who's indoctrinating me, or the black woman who knows better who's telling me what to do? Right. And ultimately, that's the question. White people get tired quickly. So Black death doesn't bother them. They've had 400 years of Black death, and it doesn't bother them. Isabel Wilkerson argues in her book that violence is necessary to keep the caste for the bottom rung to be Black.
Yes.
It's necessary that violence is used, that cruelty is currency. To me, that kind of culture, that kind of centering on cruelty means that even their lives don't matter. They had to pass child labor laws to stop using their own children in labor.
To piggyback on that, you asked a question. You said, basically, in this day and age, do Black lives matter? And what I would say to you is that the answer. The answer is no. The answer is that within the American structure, the racialized structure, one of the things that you see is that Black lives have never, the only value that Black lives have has been if they can produce something, if they can run a football, if they can play basketball, if they can sing, if they can dance, like Black, the larger white community really has no collective agility to see a Black person free. There is no agility. There is no efficacy in the larger white collective. So when things happen and they don't shock them, they don't know what to do with it because they have not built a living, embodied anti-racist culture or practices by which they can then spring from. So what do? They go back into their own trauma response, and that's go into silence. When they see horror, when they see violence, when they see this level of banality, when they see this level of brutality, one of the things that happens is that in their bodies, they begin to shut down. In their bodies, they begin to not care. Right. And so until the larger white community is interested in building a living embodied anti-racist culture, we're going to see this lack of regard for the Black body and the indigenous body because it is a structural manifestation, not an episodic manifestation.
And I think it can also be even more complicated than that, right? Because now here we are, we're having to prove the innocence of Winston Smith. We have to prove he wasn't a murder suspect because that lie was put out. We had to prove that the witness who was in the car says he didn't have a gun. And still, even after that information came out, there's really been no response to this. But when you contrast that with situations, and I think the best example is Dylan Roof. Who was a murder suspect, right. Who, in fact, was found guilty of killing 9 people in a church.
9 Black people.
But he was apprehended alive. So how is it that we can de-escalate and apprehend dangerous, violent white criminals, but when those false allegations are perpetuated against a Black man, somehow the situation is different. I want you guys to take a listen. While we're talking about people getting tired, there are a number of folks across America who, despite the exhaustion, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, they're still standing and they're still demanding that there's change in terms of our public safety systems so that hopefully within our lifetimes, we will be able to walk out in our communities across this nation and feel safe. I want you guys to take a listen to Toussaint Morrison. He was actually with us yesterday. He spoke at a press conference, that same press conference where the attorney said the witness didn't see a gun. Take a listen to Toussaint. This is a little bit longer, but stick with us because, man, this what he has to say is very powerful.
They're more fearful of an alive Black man than they are of one in the ground. And when they put one into the ground, they try to justify it. So right now we say no more. Mona Doman needs to go. And the entire BCA should be ashamed. This is cops investigating cops investigating cops. I don't know what Drew Evans does for a living other than sit at a desk and just rubber stamp everything, but he needs to go too. That's right. All of these people need to go. And there needs to be an independent investigation outside of all of this mess. Everybody from an elected official to the top is compromised. Somebody outside needs to take a look at this and give answers. When you have a situation where there's more questions than answers, something's not right. Not only are people not doing their job, this is open season on black men. This is open season. This is nothing different than 1850. They could pull up, lynch a black man, do it with impunity, walk away, done. That's exactly what they did last week. How do you feel about that? These are Klan members justifiably doing this, quote unquote, legally. This is modern day lynch mobs going around, taking black men, snatching them right out of existence, and then causing an entire city, community, and even closer, a family to try to resolve the trauma. And they never will. We never will. We don't have the answers. It's time for Mona Doman to go. It's time for Drew Evans to either do his job or leave. And it's time for all of you with your cameras to do your job. No more propaganda. Do not be a mouthpiece for these killers. Do not be a mouthpiece for these deputized cowboys. Do not be a mouthpiece for the feds. Don't do it. Do your job. Do you want to be right or do you want to be first? Think about that. Say his name. Winston Smith. 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 And you should tell the truth about it.
And what he was referring to there when he said, do you want to be right or first? The first story was wrong, right? And another piece Toussaint touched on was the resignation of Mona Doman, who was actually appointed by Trump. She still oversees the U.S. Marshal Services Department in Minnesota and ultimately has refused to make a statement on this case. What do you guys think about that?
Georgia, I just want to applaud you. Somebody labeled you a movement journalist, and that's who I think you've always been. You've centered on the truth, you tell the truth, and you stay with it no matter who falls one way or the other. And that's something that I think we owe our community, is to absolutely stick with it. Yeah. To me, this is absolutely what is true of history. Whenever Black people die, whenever we're killed, there's some kind of a little bit of a message that happens and somebody says a little bit of something, and then all of a sudden it peters out. And then people forget, and then they say their name, or maybe they don't. And then their timelines go back to what they've always been used to. I'm completely disgusted by this. She needs to leave. They all need to leave. As Brother Resma said, it is not episodic, it is structural. These people are there to keep the structure in place. That's exactly what it's designed to do, is what it's doing.
That's right. Sis, Georgia, you are one of the people that on my timeline that I'm constantly looking at for what's happening, because one of the things that, especially in the Black community, one of the things that you do is that you get the evidence and you put it up there and you say, look, this is what's happening. Here are the things that don't fit. Here's what's off, right? And our people need that more and more and more, because sometimes we get caught in kind of like this malaise of death and brutality. I think one of the things that the brother said in the clip that you played is that we can no longer act like this is business as usual, right? That this idea that there is a virtue in a vocation simply because you put on a uniform is one of those things that I think even our community has bought in sometimes, that if you have on a particular uniform, then that in some way imbues you with virtuousness. And what we have to start doing is saying that your virtue is a representation of who and what you are. And if who and what you are is a person that believes that Black people are not human, and I don't mean believe like in your head, I mean believe in your body, I mean believe in the fact that you benefit from putting your knee on Black people's neck, then my belief is that we have to, in our community, we have to start to begin to say, this is that just because you're a police officer does not mean that you are imbued with virtuousness. Virtuousness and vocation are not the same thing.
Absolutely. And I think that there's so much talk about the importance of getting out to vote, which I totally agree. But when our elected officials are failing us, when someone like Mona Doman, who is appointed to her position, is failing to stand up and act on our behalf, when our governor's not interceding on our behalf, when our mayor's not interceding on our behalf, when you see this lack of advocacy for Black constituents, then you start to see the importance of us using our voices. And so I know we have a little bit of time left here. Some people don't think that protesting is effective. Some people think, why are you guys making all this noise? Why are you doing that? But I want to show you an example where speaking out actually did make a little bit of a difference. There was a 6-year-old boy who was shot by his neighbor. He's out riding his bike, playing with his friends, and he had an Asian neighbor who shot him. The man was arrested and released on a $10,000 bail. There was community outrage. People spoke out, and the audacity to release this man after he shot an innocent boy who was just riding on his bike. And so that man was rearrested, and his bail was increased. But I want you guys to take a look at that incident again, because people are asking themselves, well, I wonder what this kid was doing. Well, why would he? What justification can you give for a 6-year-old baby being shot, and how do you justify releasing this man back into the community right next door to the boy that he just shot? Take a listen to what his father had to say. I think we'll hear from him as well.
Trying to figure out how he got a bond that was so low for trying to kill my kid.
He tried to hit me with a sledgehammer, but that's not going to work because I'm too fast.
So then what did he do?
Got a gun. Boom. Shot me right here.
I have 3 kids, you guys. Listen, it's Friday. I know you guys don't want to talk about this stuff, but how, as a mother of 3 Black children, can I turn my cheek, turn my head the other way and act like that didn't happen? And then act like the judicial system didn't fail that Black family. How can I turn the cheek? But I will say, because the community did put pressure on that judge and on that prosecutor and on all of the powers that be in that community, there was a little bit more accountability. But okay, from a self-care standpoint, all of those babies, they all have trauma now. Every parent who's seen that has a new level of trauma. Resma, you talk often about historical trauma and how we hold trauma in our bodies. How do we release it? How do we let go of it?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to do is actually acknowledge that something happened and continues to happen, and realize that the system, the way that this structure is that it never considers bodies of culture. It never considers Black people as really being human. So when they do things like that, it is almost like this thing is operating in the background. It's like asking a fish to describe water. It is in us. So when they set these low bails for somebody who is obviously I don't want to say, because I don't know his mental health makeup, but he is disturbed. There is a disturbance when you aim a gun at a child, right? There is something not quite right with you. And I think what happens is that in our community, the system doesn't care to the point that even when somebody is in danger, is in mortal danger, they don't see even a black baby as not only not being human, but probably being older than there's a whole lot of evidence out here to suggest that white folks and more often than not see black kids as older than they actually are, right? And I think what ends up happening is that that ends up getting equated with the overall structure of this society, and that is that we're not human. And what we have to begin to do is do exactly what this father did, and that was use his voice, that was get people together, that was put his stamp on what this was, and begin to get people to rally behind it. Absolutely protest work. Absolutely opening your mouth works. It doesn't work if you need an immediate result of something. Our people, W.B. Du Bois said, we can't, my job was to basically take the ring from the ancestors before me, and your job is to take the ring from me. And so we can't worry about being tired and fatigued and not seeing change right now. Our job is to move it just a little bit further, so the next group and the next descendants can take it. So our job right now is to continue to use our voice, to be as loud as we want to be, to make sure that people pay attention to what we're doing and never stop. And so that's how we begin to heal it and use that energy that is being heaped on the Black community. Use that energy as fuel for turning towards each other as opposed to fuel for turning on each other.
And Alyssa, for those of you in the comments asking that happened in Michigan, Alyssa, I was going to say, thank God it was caught on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God it was caught on camera, because if you don't catch it on camera, you're done. So, that's right. Mr. Smith is a prime example. What Brother Resma is talking about is the adultification of our children, that by the age of 5, they say that Black girls are already sexualizing people by the age of 5.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yes.
I'm barely in kindergarten. What are you talking about? So that's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Dr. White, who birthed the field of Black psychology in Ebony magazine in 1970, talked about the idea that we can center on the 7 resiliencies of Black folk. And we don't have time to go through them here, but one of them, beauties, is to keep the faith. It's what Resma said. We are in this like a chess game, like a chess game, not checkers. This is not a short-term thing. We have been struggling. They interrupted our history 400 years ago, and here interrupted. We were already here doing things in the world. They interrupted it and now continue to interrupt it with this structure. We have the right to refuse. We are wrong if we don't maladjust, according to Dr. King. And I'm with Brother Resma. Protest always works. It's the only thing that's gotten us this far. So don't believe the hype. Continue to use your voice. Continue to write, to protest, to sing, to dance, to do whatever it is to tell the world. Black lives absolutely matter to you. And that's all that matters, beauty, that it matters to us.
That's it.
Absolutely. And so, we always talk about the political aspect and the importance of getting out to vote, but we can't be naive and act like all of these elected officials have our best interests in mind. And even in this specific case in Michigan, when you think about the prosecutor in this case, how in the world was this man released on a $10,000 bail? And so there are so many instances where our elected officials fail us, and not to always place blame on the folks who are trying to push for change, because we know the political system is created in a way where most elected officials don't have a ton of power. They have to get buy-in from their colleagues. When you're in the House, then you have to get the Senate on board. And so sometimes there are elected officials who are truly advocating for change and doing everything they can, but they're up against so much, especially those. As soon as an elected official makes it clear that they believe Black life matters,
Mm-hmm.
they have a target on their back. So
Absolutely.
that is what we're up against, you guys. We're going into the weekend. I want you to challenge yourself as you have some time away from work, when you are, in your journal or doing whatever you do to unplug, dig deep. And really ask yourselves these tough questions, because if you do not, then we will not see the progress we're hoping for in our lifetimes. Resma, Alyssa, we're on the clock at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern time. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I love to see your beautiful faces. Thank you both.
Thank you.
I love you, Resma. I love you, Georgia. Thank you, beauties.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you.
All right, you guys. That's it for On the Clock. Thank you so much for joining.
Good morning, everyone. It is time. You know what time it is? It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. Stay tuned. DJ Exclusives in the building.
I just wanna get lost. Pour it down, just pour it down. You stay home and be nice. Boy, I will be gone all night. I am fine by myself, 'cause I won't be here alone. No. You don't know what you got. You don't know until it's gone.
Good morning, y'all. Y'all come on and get situated, get settled. Y'all like it or not, it's going down shortly. Great show coming up today, y'all. Make sure that you stay tuned.
When bullets fly, out of reach, won't be coming down. I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it ends. You got a chip on your shoulder, and I don't need to pretend. Yeah, we are alright.
Good morning, Nikki. It get a 9. Good morning. Thank you so much for that song. Appreciate you. I keep saying so like I don't know if female or male. It get a 9. Thank you so much. Chuck Diesel, good morning. Barbara, good morning. Shout out to Tiger in the building. Good morning, Tiger. David, what's going on, David? Good morning, sir.
The only thing I wanna do, I wanna forget where I came from, where there's no getting over.
Good morning, Tyler. Shout out to everybody that's joining and checking us out this morning. Y'all come on in, get situated, get settled. The show is going to get started real soon.
I won't be here alone. No.
All right, Pond Post, you are speaking my language. Blunts and coffee.
You don't know what I am worth. Your words are like bullets now. Sometimes they hurt. I say
Truth and Dragon, good
when bullets
morning.
fly. Out of reach, won't be coming down.
Shout out to our brother Evan the Content. We appreciate you, sir. Shout out Diallo. Diallo, how you doing, sir? Good morning.
I'm a little bit naughty, I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from you. Come a little bit closer, yeah, come a little bit closer, yeah. You're a little bit crazy, it's been days but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better knock that stuff down. Come a little bit closer, yeah, come a little bit closer, yeah. To all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right. Put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly, I'm too fly. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse.
Good morning, everybody. Y'all come on in, get situated, get settled. Like it or not, it's going down. Make sure you hit that like button while you're waiting.
In the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure. Yeah, I can finally start over. Yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly, I'm too fly. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Here's to the memories. Cheers to who used to be. Your friend said that you left me. I'm glad that's what you believe. Please, all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly, I'm too fly. Oh, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes. Don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy. Make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it. I wanna see it. See how. Rewind. When we rewind, feels so nice. With time. You, I know how to make me feel right. I can't have this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late.
Happy Friday, everybody. Make sure that you get situated. Happy Friday, everybody. Make sure you get situated, get settled, y'all. Get your drinks, your coffee, whatever it is you need to get your morning going. It's like it or not. It's about to go down, y'all. Y'all stand by.
Yeah, sweet concussion. Oh, you miss my touching. Good do. Show me something. Give me more than one thing. I need more than less than I do. Say you a good guy. Make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the best morning show that you have ever heard, y'all. It's like it or not. It's about to go down.
Like it or not, with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, y'all. I forgot I had my channel muted. I can't hear Rebecca.
Here I am.
We got some dishes.
I was talking and y'all couldn't hear me, but I heard that music. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it, shawty. What's up, y'all?
What's up? What's up? It is Friday. It is no longer Friday, Junior. It is Friday, June 11th, 2021. How are you feeling, Bubba Sparks? How are you feeling?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I got a little. Yesterday was how can I say it? It was a good day yesterday, but it got even more interesting. Like, I went to go pick up some stuff I ordered from Hot Topic. Like, I collect a lot of stuff and everything. Okay. So I pulled up to the mall and whatever, and it's like all these police cars, fire trucks, helicopter flying overhead. This huge area is taped off. I don't know what's going on. I just want to pick my stuff up. So I called the store, get my hopefully get my curbside stuff. And they were like, oh, we're sorry, we're closed. They're evacuating the mall because there was a shootout. What the hell? did I just roll up on this?
And you just roll up like, I'm just trying to get my stuff. What was it?
I'm just trying to get my stuff. That's
so
it.
You found out about what the shootout was about?
Well, apparently it was two gangs, I guess, got into an altercation outside of the mall and were shooting back and forth.
Putting folks' lives in danger.
Yes. It was, I just pulled up. I'm just like, okay. And it wasn't until like after I got home, I found out what was going on, but it was a lot. But other than that, I'm good. It was just like, okay, let's go back home.
You're safe. Thank you, Jesus, that you're safe.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, whoever, but thank God that you're safe.
Right.
And you're here. Did you get what you needed though? Look, did you?
No.
You didn't get it.
I got to try to go back and get my stuff today.
Because people want to be crazy out in these streets because they think a panty is not here anymore. Okay, listen, the draws, the panty is still here. It's still a whole pandemic, and they feel like they're free. They're out in the streets now. They want to go out and start collecting bodies again. It's just terrible.
It's these out of towners.
Yeah. Well, listen, out of towners. Listen, I'm an out of towner. Every time I get on the street, I get mad because I'm like, people in Atlanta can't drive. It's all of us. It's all of us. None of us can drive because ain't none of us really from Atlanta.
None of us. We're
it.
all transplants.
I hate it. And then everybody who lives in their particular city in Atlanta or in the metro Atlanta area, because then don't nobody really live in Atlanta, child. But everybody who lives in the metro Atlanta area, we all are like, oh, no, I can't come that way. You live too far. Another person is saying, well, you live way out that way. Everywhere the person lives is like the other person is always far.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like everything is like 15 minutes away at least.
Yeah, everything is like 15 minutes away from that person. Like, for me, I got my 15 minutes away places. And then the people that live in West nowhere, they got their 15-minute away places. But then we all meet in the middle, which is either like Buckhead, Marietta, those particular places. But
right.
That was an eventful day for you yesterday. I'm glad that we made it to Friday. I'm glad that you're here with us on this Good Friday. Listen. No, I don't have a date. Somebody wrote that in the chat. Somebody thinks they have a date with me, but that's not why I'm dressed. I just felt like wearing my little black see-through number. Hello? But somebody does think they have a date with me. Unfortunately, that's canceled.
They say they think, it's canceled.
That's canceled. But I wanted you guys to take a look at, I don't know what it is for you, but the top right of your screen and our logo and how we wanted to definitely celebrate. Is it top right? Right? Is it right here? Look, right here. There you go. Okay, right there, right here. And take a look at our logo, our small gestures where we can definitely be in solidarity with our LGBTQIA plus community. So,
come on, alphabets.
Yes, come on, alphabets, honey. And so, I thought it would be great. Like we did say that we wanted to definitely be inclusive of our community, of our LGBTQIA friends to the show. And for you, Bubba, because that's something that is big for you and it is Pride Month. And a lot of people, a lot of other people that I've seen are not really talking about it or aren't really honing in on it. So I'm glad that we could have it right here with you, our king with his little crown on his head. Such a handsome old man, such a handsome old young man.
Well, thank you.
He got a new hip. He don't know how to act.
Still can't drop it down low, but I can bring it up like it's hot.
That's right. That's all good. That's right. So there's a lot going on in the news, but today's show was going to be particularly a special one.
Yes.
And that one is going to be a Pride-focused show. So I think this is going to be really great, really interesting, really some learning tidbits. And I just want everybody to get ready and enjoy because we got more Bubba Sparks, Bubba Jakes, okay, DJ X3C, DJ exclusive on the mic, and I absolutely love it. So,
yes, indeed.
Yes, for starters, Bubba, today is June 11th, the day before the 5th anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And I know there's a lot going on with that. For starters, I know that you said you had a connection with the Pulse nightclub shooting, which again is going to be, we're falling onto the 5th anniversary of it. And could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I can. So Pulse was a nightclub I used to anytime my partner and I used to go to Orlando, there was an event that would go on in April, and we would always have parties and everything there. So I've been in this club several times, and just knowing how everything that those 51 people went through, just being in there, I felt all of it. It's literally the one way in. Once you go out to the back patio, it's enclosed. You can't do anything. The bathrooms, I remember all of that. So just seeing this happen and just knowing it, and I'm not going to say thankfully, I didn't know anyone that personally passed in this tragedy, but I know friends of friends that know people. Equally, somebody that passed away in there is known by one of my friends just from the connections and being in Orlando and Daytona. So it was a lot. Just having the connections of being there. It's just sad.
Yeah.
Looking through some of the stuff yesterday, man, it was very emotional. But we have to talk about it. We have to let these people live on. We have to.
And we have to memorialize them. You're right. So just for context, so on the 12th, like you were saying, a 29-year-old man, Omar Mateen, he killed 49 people and wounded 53 more in the mass shooting inside Pulse, the gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Orlando police officers shot and killed him after a 3-hour standoff. That was 49 people that he killed, and he wounded 53 more. So we know that nightclub had to be a huge space and a place where people could go who were gay and enjoy themselves. Just the amount of people that were there, it was probably really popular, would you say?
Yes, very much so. And that night, it was Latin night. So it was very popular among the Latinx community. And of course, our people of African American. We were there all the time as well, too. Latin night was one of the best nights.
Wow.
So it was packed. There was a good bit of people there.
And it's interesting because it's like a lot of feedback around that time that happened was like, this was, some people were using their pulpits to say that this was God's doing. Some people were saying that this had to have happened because, this had to show that these gay people shouldn't be around and be partying or things of that sort. And that, to me, when it did happen in 2016, the fact that people were still moving and thinking that you deserve to die. Remember we were talking about this yesterday? Yeah. You deserve to die because of your sexual preference or because who you identify with. And that's what I cannot stand by. And I don't want to ever be standing by something like that, even working in this media space where it was just covering, okay, this is a mass murder. But this is a targeted situation. It was a huge hate crime. Yes. And it took about, we're on the 5th year now for us to really get some things going, right?
Yes.
And so what I love now that we can speak about, which is good because we haven't really been able to, when it comes to people of the community, the LGBTQIA community, there's not much. This is also a marginalized community as well. Mm-hmm. And to be a minority and already marginalized and then to be a part of the community and marginalized. That very well. But what's great, I think, is that Congress is has voted to make Pulse nightclub a national memorial.
Yes.
So, and that has been, and they said that 3 days before the 5th anniversary, the Florida and the U.S. Senate unanimously passed legislation designating the site of the gay club a national memorial, which I think is a big step in the right direction. I think, to memorialize these people in that mass shooting. Yeah. So
absolutely. And if you have not seen how the memorial looks currently, there is, I'm not certain how big the perimeter is, but around the whole perimeter of the club, around where the building was, there is a memorial with pictures, saying words, everyone's name that's going around it. And they're also building a bigger memorial, which is going to lead from where the nightclub was to the hospital where everyone was going to.
Wow.
There's going to be a walk with 49 trees with pieces from the club hanging from the trees like bells. It's going to be a really huge memorial, and I'm just glad that Orlando was doing that. And they're going to let everyone be able to come visit and experience that. And I think that's good. And I think it is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But please don't be swayed by those devils. Because reading a couple of those stories, there was one representative that claimed that they were going to continuously help and push the LGBTQIA community forward. But here it is, just a few days ago, y'all canceled some of our major support.
Wow.
That was in there.
Wow.
So, please don't be swayed by these devils.
Don't be swayed by these devils. And I think it's also interesting or great to point out that, all these mass shootings that happened, and, we can identify this for what it is. They push a lot of these hate crimes to the side from these and the mass shootings, especially with our history, right? So I'm glad that this is coming out from where it's coming out from. And we're going to identify it for, hey, this mass shooting happened because people who were just people, right? And somebody, a devil, came out just because he didn't like what these people stood for, what these people were, who these people were, just themselves, and thought he can control it, and went out and shot people up. But this only, I think, makes our community, or your community, Bubba, stronger, and helps us understand why we need to protect everybody. Regardless, everybody deserves to live. Our representative here in Georgia, Representative Cannon, she's Park Cannon. She's going to be on the show today. I'm excited about that. Oh, here she is.
Extremely excited.
She actually was just letting us know that here in Georgia, there's going to be a memorial for Pulse nightclub. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I hope that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Connection as well.
Yes, we can hear you.
I love being a millennial, and I love the technology that we have. Thank you, StreamYard, for all that you do. Give them a sponsorship. Okay.
Yes.
But the city of Atlanta was at the initial tables when the Pulse massacre happened. We met with the city down in Florida, and we put together a really intense panel, actually, that had some of the survivors and some of the police officers and some of the city elected officials on it here at the Fox Theater. Fast forward to now, like you said, we're 5 years out from that massacre, and we all remember where we were. So we want to make sure that we have new memories about where we can go, which is why the city of Atlanta is having a vigil tomorrow, Saturday, June 12th. In the evening from 7 until 8:30 p.m. at St. Mark's United Methodist Church. It's on Peachtree, right in Midtown Atlanta. You cannot miss it. It has a big rainbow flag. They're one of the most affirming churches, and there are over 12 partners of the Atlanta Women and Men's Gay Chorus to Georgia Equality to Aid Atlanta and many others who will be there providing resources. We will go through a bit of a vigil type remembrance, and then our hope is that people will continue to stay in action.
That's
awesome.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Awesome.
You see, and look, this is just rolling in. Look, we just rolling in, Park. We just rolling in. And you know what? And it's, I want you to introduce yourself. I know you just popped up at the perfect time. And you're also part of the openly LGBTQ community here, and the small community as far as having a seat and a part of a Black woman, a part of the community having a seat in the state legislature. So could you talk about that a little bit as well?
Surely. So my name is Park. I was named after an actress. My mother was pregnant and she was watching Lifetime Movie Network. We know how those movies can go. And the credits rolled up. Someone's name was Park Overall. Fast forward, Park Overall ran for office in Tennessee in the 2000s. And many people have heard that this past March, I was unlawfully and very publicly arrested at the Georgia State Capitol. And Park Overall reached back out to me to say, I cannot believe that I have a namesake who is in politics and who is willing to stand up. What I want people to know about the type of elected official that I am an activist elected official, which means that there are direct actions that I might be a part of. But this day, March 25th, it was not that. We had not planned to protest. We were not marching intentionally. We were not doing anything. If you see, I still had my purse. I am a high femme member of the queer community, okay?
Yeah.
You see me in pink.
Yeah,
my
look at you.
Flippers match my dress right now. Your girl had to get up and beat the face.
You looking good, girl. We see, honey, you're serving. Okay.
And so that day was not at all something that we expected to happen. Instead, I was literally just doing my job like I always would. And the last thing I really want to say about this clip that we're watching is, if you look, you will see that my partner is there with me. She is the one in the jean jacket. And the moments that we have shared as members of the queer community here in Atlanta, caring about the right to vote, they're so deep. So I say to everyone who's in the queer community or in the LGBTQ community, the progress that we make come from tiny resistances, small things that people can see and relate to understand our plight in America.
Yes. Wow. And, seeing this clip, when I first saw it, I was outraged, right? I was like, this woman is walking up to the door. And, before I get there, a friend to the show, which I believe, is also a friend for you. You guys are representative friends of Renita Shannon. She is so sweet. And she kept saying, you got to have her on. You got to have her on. You got to have Park Cannon on. She's great. And this was right before the incident happened, where I did not appreciate it. When I saw this footage, the anger, because I'm like, you had the audacity, right? You had the audacity to walk up to that door and say, I want to see this man. He has to see me, right? I need him to understand. I'm not trying to fight. I just want you to know that I know, and we're going to continue to fight these bills that you guys keep putting out that are anti-Black, right? That don't want us to have our voting rights. Keep stripping them away from us day by day, time by time. Any opportunity that you get, I want to look you in your eyes, and I want to watch you. Because I know when I see in this seat that I have, that's how I felt. This seat that I have, I'm going to keep pushing for change. And when I saw that they were dragging you away, like no respect for the fact that you literally are a representative of this state. They treated you as if, like you said, you were out there protesting, being disrespectful or whatever, which protests are not disrespectful, but they were treating you as if you had set something up. And I didn't appreciate that. And they dragged you off from your cute little heels and everything. I was upset. Right. I said, oh no. No, they did not, because she had the audacity to do that. And they treated her as if, just the same way they treat Black women here in America, the same way they treat people of the marginalized communities of the LGBTQIA, and you're just a woman, period. All of those things I saw in that moment, that meant you don't matter. And that pissed me off. That pissed me off. And, in my mind, I thought, how could they apologize? Was there anything done after the fact? Well, I know that things were dropped, but, was there anything done like, hey, reached out, what happened after that?
No, and it will all come out in the future because we are still looking at all of our legal options. Yeah. Yes, we are happy the criminal defense case is over, which was very expensive, very time consuming, very intense. But we still have other legal fights ahead of us. My situation is not unlike others. State Senator Nikema Williams in 2018 was arrested in the same Georgia State Capitol after the elections involving Stacey Abrams and this same person, Brian Kemp, who was then the Secretary of State, presiding over his own election to become governor. When she was arrested, I was the first person with her. I ran down the stairs. I was talking with her. She passed me her cell phone. We contacted her family so that we could then head to the jail. We put together a whole press conference.
Wow.
We staked out at the jail. So to see that cycle repeat 3 years later from the Senate to the House, the only thing that I can do, which is, sometimes what Black women do, is kind of believe that this is cosmic, that this is a spiritual moment, that this is not about me and my physical being. This is about the rights of my ancestors and the future generations too, because we will be successful in court when we do prove that these policies that they are trying to prosecute us on, saying that we were disturbing the General Assembly, when we're members of the General Assembly, we haven't been removed by the high-ranking members of our assembly, and session was out. All the members were gone, which is why they posed for the camera in front of a plantation photo.
Wow.
Trying away our rights. We will continue to fight because we know that our tiny resistances matter, especially with voting rights.
Listen, I know that you spoke with The Guardian about that particular photo that he was signing underneath that was above him. And you were saying, you told them that you feel like it was strategically positioned under the disgraceful painting of a South Georgia plantation. And you said you immediately thought about the Georgians who have reached out to you to say, oh my gosh, my family had been working at the location for years. And on top of that, they're sitting right there underneath it was 6 white legislators, all men. And with one stroke of a pen, you said there was an erasure of decades of sacrifices, marches, as well as all the tears that Georgians have shed as they vote during perilous times. And again, when I think about, Fannie Lou Hamer and what she did, right? That's what I saw when they were dragging you out. And, what she did helped us to get where we are now. And Representative Park Cannon, what you're doing, I know will help eventually, even though it doesn't. You even said this. It just feels like we're going back and it's so slow. It's like where's the help? People keep saying we're moving forward, but it almost seems like we're dragging our feet. It's like, what are we doing? We're very, it's what are we doing with this? It's when it comes to voting, especially for people of color, especially for Black people in this country, it's always something. They always want to take something from us. When we find a way in the moment to get through it, whatever they put in our face, in our place, we find a way to get through it. They always try to take something from us. And you said something. You said it's like it's slow. It's a slow movement right now.
It is, and we look at it as not just this idea that Georgia turned blue, and now that she's blue, now we're doing all these savvy little things. No, these are years and years of Black women serving on election boards in rural counties, going to those meetings monthly. And when people are putting in petitions to say, oh, this person's last name has a hyphen in it, I'm not quite sure that they're an eligible voter here, haven't seen them around church or in the grocery store, so I want to contest their voter registration. Having a Black woman at that table who says, no, that is a common Black, Muslim, Hispanic last name.
Yeah.
That person is eligible to vote. We are not going to restrict their rights. So it's years of those types of things, and then them removing the Black women from the boards, which what they did this year. But then it's also what we consider to be trauma-informed voting. It's a two-part. One is the voter. I have been informed by my traumas as a queer person in the South trying to access healthcare. So I want to vote for a candidate who will support trans inclusive healthcare practices.
Yes.
That is a very, close to the chest way that the voter is able to move through their traumas and their triggers and feel like they're in solution mode. But then for the organizations that are supporting them, we had to turn into trauma-informed care providers. Like if you go to a hospital, you're receiving a procedure, and maybe it's a sensitive location of your body. If that provider is trained in trauma-informed healthcare practice, they will notice if you flinch, and they might say to you, are you okay? Can I continue the exam? It'll be a warm touch. It'll be a cold touch. You know, they'll go through that process of it. So voting rights groups here in Georgia, we turned into trauma-informed care providers. If there were people who were calling our hotline and saying, I have COVID-19, I am in the hospital, but I want to vote, what can I do? Can someone bring me a piece of paper so I can sign for my absentee ballot? They can send out my absentee ballot to my house. It'll eventually get there in 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll be home. If I'm not home, can we have an authorized signer at the hospital? Pick that up, bring it to me, help me vote, put a stamp on it because there's a poll tax in Georgia, and send it back. These are very intense situations where it takes individuals who are not just seeking a reward or gratitude, but truly care, are willing to spend all days and hours helping one person access the right to vote. So this idea of how we move forward and what we are experiencing, I can only believe that it is going to take all of us. I am not worried about if you vote Republican or Democrat. I am worried about the integrity of our voting system. Yes. When the governor and the House and the Senate don't even put the bill online for public view before it is signed into law, and the only version that the public can see is 2 pages long, but the signing of the bill is 98 and a half pages?
Wow.
How, Sway?
Yeah, listen, how? You ain't got the answers, Sway, literally. And that's what you want to go figure out. Listen, Kemp, where are the answers? And what is this about? This is nothing ties together. And it's funny because all eyes were on Georgia when it came to turning blue, all of this. And then now, just right after that, right? Because this is how they don't care so much. This is how our leaders don't care. It was like, oh, now let's take away their rights because, they want to flip it blue. They want to do that. Let's take away their rights. Let's do every small thing that we can do to take away their rights. There's so much that we want to get into. I know our DJ here, the LGBTQIA friendly DJ, my king, but he wanted to get in there. Go ahead, Bubba.
Representative Cannon, thank you so much again for everything that you do. You are just amazing and awesome. But what can we do out here in the community? What can we get our families and everyone doing to get involved and get out here to make sure that we're not getting the short end of the stick, because we have it bad on both sides. We already have that we're black in the community voting and going through that, but we also have to add the fact that we're LGBTQ and everything and our trans friends and everything. So what can we do to push this conversation and make sure that we're doing what needs to be done so we're not getting the filibustered? There we go.
Period. Okay.
Come on, Bubba.
So there are 3 things that I recommend that we all do right now. One is check your voter registration. Yes, you voted maybe in November for the president, or maybe if you were here in Georgia, you voted in January for the Senate. Maybe if you were in some rural county or in some place where there was a special election, maybe you voted at some point, like someone passed away and there had to be a new person put in the seat. So there was a quick election. I was elected in a special election in 2016. It was a 6-week election. Normally people have like 2-year-long elections.
Right.
So maybe you haven't voted in a long, long time. Check your voter registration because you could be purged. The bills in policy already said that you could be purged after not voting in 2 presidential elections. But this bill change made it so that there are other ways that the system can purge you regardless of activity. Like I said, the registration process, if for some reason they're not sure that you're really a voter, they can challenge it. Or if you have any felonies or misdemeanors on your record, they can start going around and trying to stop your vote. So go to my voter page, mvp.sos.ga.gov. I will make sure to put that in because that is the way that you can check your voter registration. See what it's at. See what it says about your polling place. See when it says you voted last. Check your address, make sure it's perfect so you're getting the notifications. All of those things are things that the voter can do to make sure that they are ready to, impact the system. The second thing that we can do is actually start to ramp up our understanding of the new policy. Senate Bill 202, like I said, is 98 pages long. It covers everything from whether you can give people food and water in line or face a misdemeanor or felony, whether you can take people with you to vote. It also includes whether or not, if you are a voter who for some reason is going through a situation like COVID-19, how you can actually impact your ability to vote. So we're starting a Know Your Rights campaign on Senate Bill 202. We don't want this idea of Senate Bill 202 to die. We want it to be very active on people's tongue. So please start learning about Senate Bill 202. You can go to the House website right now, legis.ga.gov, and type in Senate Bill 202, and you will be able to read all 98 pages of that. The third piece, which I find to be the most important, is start to attend state election board meetings and county election board meetings. The county election boards are the local places where all of the voter registrations go before they're submitted to the state. The counties are so important because as they decide how they're going to dole out their financial resources, their staffing, their resources, all of that, they are looking for input from the community. But right now, a lot of our rural election boards are lopsided. There aren't that many people of color. There certainly are not LGBTQ people on these election boards. So we don't have a say when it comes to some of the nuanced issues. And then the state election board meetings, those are monthly. If you sign up for the Secretary of State's updates, they will automatically send you when the meetings are happening. But I want people to understand why the state election board meetings matter. They matter because they are a group of 5 people, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, 1 person who's supposed to be nonpartisan. They all report to the Secretary of State, who is an elected official. So he is working on some partisan stuff. He's appointed these people who are supposed to be somewhat partisan, but might not be. And then they actually are the ones who can decide to incriminate people for voting twice, or maybe for accidentally not knowing where their polling place was, voting in one place and casting a provisional ballot. We saw the highest number of provisions against voters this year, right after the January election. There was a state election board meeting where they all sat there and called out people's names and said, we are going to prosecute you. Wow. But it was so ridiculous because I want you to just imagine, in the city of Atlanta, there are high rises. Yeah. Some of those high rises, people live on the top and there are businesses on the bottom. It's called a mixed use development. Yep. That mixed use development might have a UPS store, a FedEx store at the bottom. So there's a lot of P.O. boxes that come in there. Yes. And some of those people might have boxes down there. Yes. So for you to now prosecute people because you said that they used a fake address when it was the UPS store, wow. These are the types of ways that we have to be savvy and at the tables so that they know that we're nuanced with our right to vote. We're not afraid of them. We are empowered by their foolishness.
We are not afraid of them. We are not afraid of them. We are empowered by their foolishness. That's the word. That's the word. Because it's foolish. They're going to try to find ways, and how you pointed out, small different ways, which they have been trying to do to prevent us from voting. If the building is a mixed development and there's business at the bottom and I'm living at the top, of course something like that would come up. But they will try to criminalize that, try to make you seem like you were doing something wrong on purpose, and and take away your voting rights and make you seem like a criminal and make you seem like you were actually being un-American. It's all kinds of things. Park Cannon, we are so grateful to have you here. Before we leave, I wanted you to talk a little bit about some new ventures that you're doing. I know that you have a book out So it's called the Universal Guide to Running for Office. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So before age 30, I decided to become an author. I want everyone to consider becoming an author. We need more Black authors, more LGBTQ authors, more female authors, young people, you name it. There's a category in the book section for you, and your name should be there. On Inauguration Day, we put out the Universal Guide to Running for Office. It is a comprehensive guide on how you can run as you are. Running as you are is not very easy, especially if you start to go through those photo albums of your family and say, why did we live here? What was going on in that time frame? You realize how intersectional your life is and how important it is that when you run for office, you stand up for different communities. I always love people over the age of 60 or people who actually had been voting, for over 30 years. But once I started running for office, I started to understand it was so difficult for them to access healthcare services because they just couldn't even get down the sidewalk on their scooters. So they were immobilized, even though they were these like bright and bubbly people their whole lives. Yeah. I started to learn about how there were people who were LGBTQ and aging, and when they went in the nursing home, they had to go back in the closet because they were fearful of what nurses or other individuals might think. So as you start to run for office, there is a lot that happens. Sometimes people be stealing your yard signs and you get so like, ooh, it was my yard sign. Why they took it? But you have to actually just realize this is a part of the campaign process. Right. So I take you through who should be in your kitchen cabinet, as in your like 5 people, your 5 spices, like your cinnamon is your person who's your media person. They can hit a high level on your campaign. They can keep you cute and keep you great. But then also affirmations. We have an entire, set of affirmations.
Come on, affirmations.
Yes.
Yeah. To just help people see what my affirmation was on the campaign trail and give them space to put theirs as well. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles today.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Before we get to what we're going to do with those books, the affirmation part, I know we're supposed to get out of here, but the affirmation part is very important. I also, in your interview with The Guardian, you talked about self-care and affirmation being something to help you get through while them folks is out there stealing the signs. And you out here like, how am I going to, they trying it, but you're going through with those affirmations. Tell us a little bit about that self-care process for you.
Yes, as a young person in the South, there aren't always opportunities for you to be seen as a leader. So figuring out that you're a leader in your own right certainly comes from inside of yourself. Nice. Whether you're working out your abs so that you can show them off for Pride Month, or you're working for your internal core so that if you are ever arrested, you have a stable core and you are able to hold yourself up. I very much feel as though all that yoga I've been doing, it was working that day, Hanny, because they were pulling me backwards. My arms was back here. I had my AirPod in. It was really disorienting. There was a lot of, noise and all of those things happening. So just doing those things that either are helping your outside body or your inside body. I recommend everyone start drinking apple cider vinegar. Get your gut together because the gut on the inside, honey. Woo.
Come on.
Hello, somebody.
Hello. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that, Farkin. And listen, before we end, we wanted to make sure that we're going to raffle off 3 of those books. I'm going to get one myself as well, but we're going to raffle off 3 of those books. And that's going to be for our first 3 voicemails for the phone number at 857-600-0518. Again, that number is 857-600-0518. I know Bob was going to talk about it before break as well. We're going to raffle off this amazing book, The Universal Guide to Running for Office. So anybody, listen, all of us folks, these millennials, okay, we are here and we we are amazing, okay? And we can run for office. And no matter what you look like, no matter what your gender is, no matter what you believe,
Park Cannon. Representative Park Cannon is a beautiful and great example in all that magenta pink looking good. Okay.
Yes.
She's a great example of that. So definitely we're going to raffle off those the books. So hopefully you win. I'm going to be somebody who purchases the book.
Yeah, I'm going to purchase that myself. Yes.
And where can we find you? Where can everybody watching right now find you?
I love Instagram and I love Facebook. I'm trying on Twitter and I'm trying on TikTok. But really, Instagram is where it's at.
I'm there too.
DM me. I get in there. I really do.
I got you. So what's your Instagram though?
Park Cannon 58, because I represent House District 58 right now. Unfortunately, redistricting happens in the fall. So I don't even know if I'll still be in the 58th district or if they'll change my number. But stay tuned at Park Cannon 58.
There we go. Park Cannon 58. Follow her on the gram. She's going to be doing more great things. Make sure you get her book or definitely leave the voicemails to see if you're going to win the book. Thank you, Representative Park Cannon. I hope that you have a great day. Thank you for everything that you do, girl.
Yes. Amazing. Stay amazing and blessed, sister. You looking good. Thank you.
Let me tell you, she came on. She was like, I'm looking good in my magenta. I was like, yes, come through with the color. Give it to us. I love it. And then I love
everything I needed.
Her passion for me. It's her passion for me and her mentioning of being a millennial, because right now they're trying to like have millennials be old people who can't do nothing, move out the way. But it's her passion for me. Yes. It doesn't matter who you are. We are taking space. We are taking place. And for her to be fighting on behalf of us and to see her being dragged out. We're talking about, like I said, I mentioned Fannie Lou Hamer, and I mention her often because I've covered her and I saw her plight. She is somebody who has been dragged out of places as well for challenging the voting rights. And for our people. So this is exactly why I think it's very important for to see people like her in those spaces. Not only is she a woman, she's a Black woman, okay? And she's part of the LGBTQIA+ community. And she's fighting for all of our rights in all different ways. So shout out to her, Representative Park Cannon. That was absolutely a key, okay? Yeah. Absolutely a key. I love when we have Black people on here in positions, okay? In positions, high positions, sweetie, to make sure that we are represented in all these spaces because we have someone for all these spaces.
It's somebody in all of these spaces. There's somebody that you probably least expect going to be right there in that space.
Pulls around the corner and be like, oh, you thought I couldn't, but I'm here. It's the black person in the room. And this is not diversity and inclusion. I've been here. I've been here. So
say that, Rebecca.
It was one more again. Shouts out to Representative Park Cannon for coming through. Make sure you guys follow her on Instagram at Park Cannon 58. Was that Park Cannon 58?
Yeah, Park Cannon 58.
Also, the websites that she did provide was legis.ga.gov for more information, and the SB 202. So that's going to be more information on that. And for more information on your voting rights, mvp.sos.ga.gov. And for those of you, there's a raffle going on. Bubba, take us a break and let everybody know how they can get the damn book. It's a good book. It's
a good
an amazing book.
Hey, make sure if you have not already called, you better call. I'm sure somebody's already called. I've seen a couple people say they called already. But if you have not, press 3 to leave a voicemail. 857-600-0518. Let me cut the music down low just so you can hear that. 857-600-0518. And when we have those, we'll get them ready for y'all, okay? It's like a night. You can also get the book on Amazon. And if you don't like Amazon, it is available at Barnes & Noble as well, too. So make sure that you order your copy today. I'm going to get mine as soon as I get off the air today. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Good morning, everybody in the chat rooms, wherever you're streaming from, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff, man. We appreciate y'all. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure you share and subscribe too. It's Like It or Not. Shout out to our brother Ben. Seven Sweetheart, good morning, sister.
Give me your love, no holding back, no. We can take it to the stars where you wanna go. Stop, we can do, don't need to prove you know. Honey, I got what you want. Yeah. Under the night sky, I want your eyes all on me.
Make sure that you follow our Instagram, our Facebook as well too. Like It or Not Show, Instagram and Facebook. Like It or Not Show, Instagram and Facebook. Happy birthday, Natalie, who is celebrating her 50th birthday today. Hey, man, that's dope as hell. Congratulations to you and happy birthday. Enjoy your birthday, man. Y'all like my chair dance? If you have not, make sure that you go to patreon.com/likeItOrNot, patreon.com/likeItOrNot. If you want to become a Patreon member, get exclusive content to everything, join patreon.com/likeItOrNot, patreon.com/likeItOrNot, man. You want us to leave corporate America? Give Rebecca and Bubba free. Give us free. Patreon.com/likeItOrNot, patreon.com/likeItOrNot, y'all. Welcome back to the screen. My sister is ready. Rebecca, free Rebecca.
We got to free Rebecca for real, okay?
Yeah, for real.
The work that we're doing here is very important. So make sure you definitely get us free from our colonizers.
Yes, please. Give us free from the colonizer.
Retirez-nous sous bord, moun yo ki pa remen nou. Please, moun yo kap fè nou travay. Please.
Yes, what my sister said. Everything that my sister said.
On this Friday. It was such a good interview. I had to go get my Moscato, the pink one, in honor. That's my drink.
Come on, pink Moscato.
For Representative Park Cannon. But
y'all could have told me something. I could have went and got mine real quick. It's in the refrigerator.
Honestly, I didn't expect it to be on screen. I didn't know. But it's Friday. It's Friday.
It's Friday, right?
You know what? I'm absolutely enjoying our special episode today, and I really want every single Friday to be focused on our LGBTQIA community for this month. While we'll be throwing stories in all week, but I really want our Fridays for this month to be focused on that. That was such a joy. You know, we left with her being such a key, but in moments though.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just very down to earth, and I love it. It's like, girl, I can sit here and talk with you all day long.
This is what I'm talking about. Because this is the type of vibe I absolutely love, and I want for all week with the people that we have on. I love it. I love when they give us good energy to go off of, and they also educate us on what's happening because they're the experts on the situation. We have a whole representative here in the state of Georgia who is fighting the fight I told you, I name these people all the time. We have Isaiah, who we have on the show often, who's out there in New York. And then we have Nina Turner, who's running for Congress, that we hope that she's going to win. Yes. We have our Cori Bushes of the world. We have our Ilhan Omars. We have everybody who these people are driving force. They're the minorities in this situation. But as if we pull them for the conversations instead of pulling the main people that everybody knows, the faces and things like that, if we pull and tap on our representatives of color and join the conversation, to me, that matters so much more in these media spaces. Because like you said, Bubba, we got them all around. It ain't like they're not here, right? We can definitely bring them on, amplify their voices, and just continue to support them. But because she's LGBTQIA, a lot of people wouldn't want to support, just like this religious right-wing activist. That's the evangelist. These religious right-wing activists. Gordon Killen Smith. I can't really say his last name, but Gordon Kilgen Smith, he warns that the Biden administration is actively recruiting lesbians into the military because they want a demonic military to help the Antichrist rise and take over the world. Let's hear what this stupid, ignorant man had to say.
I discern the spirits behind what the Biden administration is doing. They're doing the opposite. They don't want a holy military. They want a demonic military. And what's the end goal of that? Ultimately, not only are they welcoming that kind of behavior, but they are now punishing Christians. They are driving chaplains like Army Major Chaplain Andrew Calvert is now been given a letter of reprimand as a chaplain by a general officer to punish him for voicing a private opinion against transgenderism. So they are purging the Christians, and that demonic spirit of Antichrist is coming in to take over our military, ultimately for one reason, that when the devil controls the American military, the Antichrist can rise and take over the world.
Was he for real?
Like, I'm bored. Listen. It's funny. They always want to point out the, lesbianism. First of all, how is that the Antichrist coming? He looks like, here's the thing. A lot of these people that are speaking, you pointed this out yesterday, Bubba, these people are hypocrites. Yes. They will point out it's not even an issue, but they'll point out this thing, right? And say that because you're a lesbian or you're gay or you're bi or whatever you identify with, this is the end of days. Meanwhile, a lot of them are cheating on their wives. A lot of them are stealing. A lot of them have killed. A lot of them are destroying so many things in so many ways. They are not following the commandments in any way, shape, form, nothing. But they'll choose to say things like lesbians, and that basically, to me, I hear women shouldn't even be in the military. Now we got them in the military. They're lesbians, and this is the end of days.
They're going to be the cause of the Antichrist coming back. Crap.
But here you choose this particular situation to speak about the Antichrist. Yet there's so many more things that a lot of people, and especially people who are in these spaces, are doing that are not aligned with the word. Right. But these are the people who have the platforms. He looks like he could be like on one of those, when the commercials be playing and he's the one that's begging and that, because they want to take all the black pastors do it, but them white folks, they be riding them G5s in the sky. Okay. G5s in the sky. Literally, he looks like one of those people who are just asking for things, and he's going off to countries like Haiti and, raping the people and, coming back with half kids. And, he's one of those people, the missionaries, right? That say all of this about all of that, but will go to these countries, do wrong, come back, spread the wrong word, and that be that. And when you are when you have these platforms, especially as a Republican supporter, pastor, all your words are going to fall onto your clan's ears, and they're going to treat people. They're going to think that this idea of not having lesbians, and we already know that there are laws trying to be put in place where transgenders aren't even allowed to be in the military, things like that. So there are so many laws set in place to go against already the LGBTQIA community. And then we have religious leaders who may not be doing right themselves and are not teaching about love and about acceptance. And it's true. If we don't believe in that, we don't believe in that. But that doesn't mean that we go out and say that because you are that, you don't deserve healthcare, you don't deserve a job, you don't deserve to be in the military, you don't deserve anything. Like that's ridiculous to me. What
research did you do to determine that these females are going to be caused? What breakdown of what version of this multi-thousand-year-old Bible did you read that says that females are going to rise up and be the Antichrist by joining the military? And
it sounds sexist to me. It's like
sexist
not only
as
that,
hell,
it's like he didn't mention, like, if you're going to mention, he only mentioned lesbians. Like,
that's it. And that's why I'm like, wait, where did you get that from?
Because he doesn't like women, and he probably likes men himself. So it's like
pedophile.
It's weirdo stuff. It's weirdo stuff happening. So, just for him to identify lesbians lets me know he doesn't like women. Women, and those type of people also believe that the Bible says that women are like servants and slaves and those kind of things.
To bathe, to feed, all of that. Yeah. That's
probably what we're going with here. And so here's your 15 minutes of fame, Killinger Smith, whatever it was. You sounded stupid. As we unpack that, we realize that you're sexist. Not only that you're sexist, you could possibly be gay. And you're
a pedophile.
And a pedophile. And, probably somebody who rapes people overseas. Look, we got all of that, man. All of that from your stupid little comments. So the same way that you're picking people apart, we will pick you apart.
Absolutely.
That's right here on Like It or Not, whether you like it
or not.
Hello. So yesterday, I know we were discussing critical race theory and how they're trying to take that out of schools. This is an audible, David, but I know that remember when we were having that conversation about the bill being the representative who's making the bill, and he was going off, and the CNN guy was like, "You're not gonna come on CNN and have that, we're not gonna do that." Remember when we were discussing that and how I said once Texas does it, Georgia will do it too. Why? Because birds of a feather
flock together. And
that's exactly what happened in Cobb County. They have now taken on that same idea that they will not be teaching the critical race theories in their schools. So it's only going to be more white supremacist ideals fluffed into our children's heads if you're in Cobb County. So be expecting that. They don't want them to know exactly what's going on. They don't want them to know that their cousins, sisters, brothers, and them stormed up to the Capitol and did what they did, which is a terrorist attack. And also, they don't want y'all to know that the former president, Donald Trump, didn't win presidency, but took our good old taxpaying dollars and went to go fight it at the Supreme Court and things like that to say that he did. So they don't want them to know that. They don't want them to know that. So it's already touched down in Georgia. It's going to trickle down. And where is it going to reach? Right there in Florida. In good old Florida. You already know.
You said it right, Rebecca. It never happens with these three states.
Yeah.
Florida, Georgia, and Texas. If it happens in one of those states first, guaranteed one of those other states is going to be next.
Go best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend. That's my best friend. If it happens right here in good old Texas, it's going to happen in Georgia, and it's going to happen in good old Florida.
Hey there, Texas. I saw you just signed that bill. Guess what we're doing here in Georgia?
Oh, man. Listen. We never shut down here in Georgia. I know they wanted to say they wanted to shut down, but we have Governor Kemp. We got Governor Kemp right here in Georgia, and we weren't going to shut a thing down.
Good old Kemp.
And we went down there and called down to Florida and spoke with DeSantis. And,
DeSantis.
We told DeSantis, we said, "Hey, DeSantis, pull up your pants and get right on in it. We're going to get a little dirty. We're back out on these streets, even though it's a whole panoramic. We don't care."
Hey, we don't care that this whole Panasonic is going on. We're going to keep on doing the damn thing. Hey, did you see what we did with that energy crisis and the big freeze in Texas? We did all of that. It was all made up. We did it.
Oh, man. We had
messed
Cruz
those
over there
up.
holding it down for us. Remember when Cruz went on vacation? Oh, that's just like Cruz to do. If he was going to be in partnership with us, he had to leave him for dead. He had to leave.
Yeah, we had to. Oh, he was dead weight at that point. Like Lavahead, we told that man, don't go on this vacation. But this dumbass went anyway. But it's okay. We dropped him. We got everything taken care of. Hey. We good. We still made billions of dollars off these people. Cut the power off for so long. It was okay. It was cool.
Hey, let's call a thing, people.
A thing.
The thing is, we don't care about the people. We just care about our white ideals and what we are all about. Speaking of white ideals, I know this is another audible. David, I love you. Mean it so much. But there's a statue, right? A statue that was placed. Let's see here. It's a statue of York, and York is is actually like a slave. You know, he's a slave that was the first, I believe, to be free from the Lewis and Clark expedition. He was the first to travel. I'm trying to get more information on it, but I saw this. And the reason I'm saying this while it's inaudible for David to pull up, a white woman was seen defacing this York monument, and before it was the York monument, it was a white monument that was up. And you know, we've been just taking down white monuments, white terrible monuments that mean slavery, that remind us of that this man literally enslaved so many people, or this man has done, you know, something terrible or whatever. We got so many here in Georgia that we've been trying to take down. But this York statue was defaced months after just randomly appearing on Mount Tabor, I believe, and this is in Oregon. And this man who was riding a bike, or a person who was riding a bike, actually saw this white woman spray painting the York statue purple, just spray painting it, and then screaming out "F you all." And this happened in Portland, Oregon. This was an incident that happened in Portland, Oregon, where we know that where race relations have been simmering for many, many months after they removed the, I'm trying to see who it was that they removed. They removed some white man, some white monument. Right now, I don't see it. But anyways, this monument in Mount Tabor in Portland, it features the bust of a slave, the bust or the top of the slave named York, just York. And he's credited with helping explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark traverse the U.S. beginning in 1804. And I read a little bit about him earlier this morning, York. I read a little bit about him, and here's the defacing, what David is showing us here. Here's the defacing, just spray painting it down because they're mad that the former, I guess, statue that was there is gone. I don't know why people get so upset. It was a Karen, guys. It was also a Karen. But I was reading a little bit about York, and I didn't get to go into further detail, but because I just saw this story this morning, and I was reading a little bit about York and how he was sent off by William and Clark, and how they just sent him off for the excursion, and how he was helping communicate with the Native Americans on this excursion, or whatever they wanted to title it as, and how he was free for that time being. And when he went back to his slave owner, he thought, okay, I did all of this. Right. I can now be free. And he was like, nah, I'm not going to free you. I'm definitely not going to free you. And they say that, you know, there was nothing else that was, came up of him. And he owned his parents. Whoever was a slave master owned also the parents, and didn't want to let him go. He was too strong. He was big and black. He had a fiance. The fiance also was was separated. You know how they do. And the story that his slave owner came out with was that he died and he didn't want to leave the plantation. He wanted to stay, even though he experienced some form of freedom. He wanted to stay here. And a lot of researchers are saying that doesn't make any sense, because he experienced freedom, asked for his freedom, and wasn't given that freedom. There's not a lot of news surrounding his death, but they knew that man wanted to be free. He wanted to be free. And that idea that a lot of white people come out with and say, or what the idea that a lot of us were taught, critical race theory, that they don't want us to understand.
You're right.
The white supremacist ideals that slaves were happy at, like, that idea, oh, he didn't want to leave because he knew he was going to be fed. He knew he had a home to stay in. He knew he could get work. He knew that he had a master who he wasn't even much older than. And again, his name was just York. He wasn't even much older than his slave owner. And he knew that they were saying that he knew he had all of this access for him. He didn't want to leave. The idea that a slave who experienced freedom and asked for his freedom didn't want to leave is unbelievable. Because right. I believe that, as you know, I say all the time, I'm Haitian. We rebel. We don't like slavery. We're allergic to slavery. We don't. I'm allergic. Okay. We don't play with that. We done killed y'all when y'all came over there and, try to enslave us while we were there, brought us there. We didn't want to be there. As African descendants, like, we're going to rebel, period. It's just in our DNA. It's in our blood as Black people. So to see that and for them to have that idea is ridiculous. So whoever York is, I don't know. When I saw the statue, the monument, I just felt gravitated towards I saw it right this morning while we were getting prepared for the show. And I'm like, who is this man? I need to know more about him. I need to know what his story was. And he did a lot of work for America, right? His slave master, and didn't get anything for it. Lost his family, lost his fiance, and only had the name York. So the white man that the vandalizer, the Karen, was referring to is Harvey Scott. And Harvey Scott, who was placed there before they took him down, was an editor-in-chief of the Oregonian newspaper in the 1870s and a staunch opponent against having women having the right to vote. That's who we were memorializing.
So,
York.
Because what I noticed with the vandalism, I see that she put the male and female symbols on the thing. Yep. So it sounds like sis may have been confused. Yeah, she had the wrong monument.
Yep. Listen, listen. She came over there looking for something, and so she had the wrong idea. White folks will go out thinking they fighting for something they ain't even got. They don't even have it. Like, it's not even in their heads.
She didn't read who it was.
No, she was just like, this. She wanted the Harvey guy to be back memorialized, not knowing that man didn't even want her to vote. That white man that she wanted back up there didn't even want her to vote. Make it make sense. Anyways, y'all, let's find out more about this York character. He's not a character. This York Black man who did a thing here, who needs to be memorialized. I don't know. I felt compelled. I hope that you felt compelled. I know I didn't have all the information about York, but he's a Black man that should be memorialized. And whoever his family is, and he only went by the name York, you guys. He didn't probably go by the name York. They only identified him as York. That was his slave name. They just called him York. He was a big Black man. He was strong. One time in his slave owner's book, he wrote, "We needed greens for food." And he swam across. The big Black man, strong Black man, was the only one that could swim across and go get us the greens and bring it back to us.
Wow.
Yeah, so I felt compelled. I'm going to learn more about him. Sorry I couldn't give you guys all the information on it. But that Karen, you look stupid. I'm glad that you were caught. Here's another big thing about that Karen story that was vandalizing it. You guys, she only got a citation. Even though she was on video, she only got a citation for doing that. Only got
sounds about white.
Sounds about white. Definitely.
White.
So, that is that. I just had to drop that. Didn't mean to make it so crazy, but I don't know. If you guys want to go find out who York is, do that. I'm going to definitely get up on my York information. Whoever that Black man was, I feel like he should be commemorated correctly. Yeah. And that statue was placed there by an unknown person. Nobody knows. They just woke up and that monument was there after they took the other one down. It was placed there this year in February. this year in February. So yeah,
Well, I'm
whoever
glad they
did
let
that,
it stay.
yeah, whoever did that, shouts out to you. And I hope that we, start popping out more Black monuments and make all these Karens upset. Have just shaking the table, have their veins popping out, have their bobs wigging out, have them in their khakis up their butt, get them really upset. Really get them
Rebecca,
upset.
go away.
Anywho,
just named all of them.
It's about time, I think, we go into the after party. I hope that you guys who are watching right now take it to the correct place. Bubba, link them over to the right place because they just be staying there looking like, where's the after party? Where's the after party?
tinyurl.com/like it or not. Right?
Okay.
tinyurl.com/like it or not show. I need y'all to go ahead, go over there right now and get ready. And make sure that you share and subscribe. Most things, subscribe to that page and we'll be good to go.
We'll be good to go. For everybody who's
one
watching,
step closer.
One step closer to being free. Not one, because we probably maybe like a step, 2 rounds, a little something, a marathon, a little bit. But if you guys help us, we're one step closer. So listen, for everybody who's watching, thank you for tuning in with us today. If you're not headed over to the after party, please, if you can, become a patron if you can. And if you have the good old Prime Amazon account and you don't want to give your full $12.99 over to Bezos, give it to us. You give it to us for free by definitely what is it? Partnering, taking a bit of that with your Prime Amazon account, and that can go into actually becoming a subscriber, a Patreon. That money comes to us, that $5 out of that. So I love you guys, mean it so much. I thank you guys for rocking with us. I hope that we held it down as best as we could.
Yes.
And meet us at the after party. I want to see you after the party. Yeah.
Hey, and shut up, Rebecca didn't do her video yesterday either, but it's okay.
I'm doing it today. I said it, but I did not. The way work was set up, Bubba, the wig was on, but I was looking crazy. Couldn't even. It was a tough day yesterday, but I love you. I mean it. Let's head over to the after party, and Bubba, take it away.
Let's go, y'all. Make sure that you follow tinyurl.com/like it or not show. tinyurl.com/like it or not show, y'all. We'll see y'all over there. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's how we get them numbers up. Let's break this algorithm, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. After party. We here now.
Director, I will do anything you want me to do. Hey, Mr. Director, anything for you. I can sing, I can dance, I can sing, I can dance, I can learn the smooth moves. I will do anything.
Welcome to the after party, everybody. Make sure that you come on in, get situated, get set off.
Jump out on the stage, get locked up in a cage.
Justice Dakotas, yes sir, we still see you.
I can dance, I can learn the smooth moves. I will do anything you ask
Courtney, good morning, y'all.
Jump out on the stage, get locked up in a cage. Director, bring it on, director. I know how to deliver. Come on, director.
It's Friday night and you are beautiful.
Shout out brother Chuck Diesel. What's going on, Chuck?
I am so lucky to be with you. 'Cause when it's been a rough day and I stare at the walls surrounding me, I let go of my thought and I go with you. You're a believer.
Good morning.
That's less strong. touch, a thrill to ride with you. 'Cause when it's been a rough day,
Lisa Noel, I got you.
and I stare at the walls surrounding me, I let go
Oh,
of
Shauna,
my
good morning.
thoughts, and I go with
Nat,
you.
hey, what's going on, Nat? Good morning, good morning.
You're a believer and a liar.
Roll the Dragon, shout out to you.
Kinda great in Southern California, but I'm allergic to the rain. What happened to euphoria? Oh, oh. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Damn. I'm too excited. Dark liquor with the
I'm gonna squeeze one more in here, one
all
more.
or nothing. Oh, it's all or nothing. No other signs. It's socialize. Come and see what you've been missing.
Roll the Dragon, yeah, I am.
Signs of heaven. It's the only place we're living.
Boy, you had me from the start. By the way you stared, the way you wrote up for me, yeah. Man, I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're on completely different pages. Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up, we should take it slow.
Ben wanted me to give y'all a message, y'all. He literally just called my phone.
If you love me, baby,
Brother Ben said if you ain't up dancing right now with your partner having a good time, man, we ain't doing our job right.
Baby, don't you switch up the vibe.
Shout out to you, y'all. Ben, we love you, brother. We miss you, man.
Baby, don't you
And y'all, welcome back to the screen. Rebecca, y'all.
take me on a trip. Always up and down and back and forth in merry-go-round. I just want
I gotta unmute home. There we go.
But when you go left, I'm stuck here feeling left behind.
That's making me want to just
maybe want to get my neck and knees on.
Because I'm old. That's how we dance now.
Yes.
Right? Baby. If y'all not dancing, look, throw up the lines in the chat. Throw up your little dance moves in the chat. I need to make sure you guys were moving and grooving with us just now, so that we weren't the only ones looking crazy on the virtual dance floor. Get this wine glass out of here. Even though it's a good aesthetic, it really is a good aesthetic.
It does look
get
good.
it out of here. Anywho, look, it's been a great Friday. I hope that you guys have been enjoying. Everyone who didn't catch the first part of the show, please be sure you catch the beginning of the show.
Yes,
because we had such a vibe. Okay, we had
Representative
Georgia Representative Park Cannon here on the show, who was giving us all the tease of what happened with her. If you guys recall, being dragged out as she knocked on Governor Kemp's door to basically just confront him with her eyes. You know, when a black person look at you in the eyes, when a black woman looks at you in your eyes and don't say nothing, you know something is coming. Okay. So let's be expecting something big from Georgia Representative Park Cannon. Again, welcome back to Like It or Not. Listen, we're free to tell the truth, Bubba.
And not care who doesn't like it, shouty.
Come on, somebody. Listen, okay, so here, I want to start the show off with this, and then we'll get into some Black Joy to take you guys out on this wonderful Friday that looks like it's trying to be gloomy outside. But so y'all, I know we talk about these white men like Tucker Carlson with a little piece of hair that won't sit down in the back. But we haven't talked about Ben Shapiro in a while. We haven't talked about him in a while. And this man had the caucasity to say that he can use the N-word or what the N-word describes, right? He said, quote, "I will say that when it comes to the use of the N-word, there is a difference between calling a Black person an N-word with an ER at the end and in jest using the N-word that ends with an A to describe a white person." He said there is a difference between calling a Black person an N-I-G-G-E-R, right? In jest, and using the N-word that ends with A to describe a white person. Who are you to say what that is and what we who are you to be in Black folks' business? I'm not. Go ahead, Bubba.
He didn't listen to somebody's rap album or to listen to some hip hop artist, Lil Wayne, and think that it's okay now for him to say the word with the A at the end, which means that his kids probably said it. Kids probably said, "Daddy, I can say Nigga and I'm good because I'm not calling it saying with the hard ER like we used to." You heard what I said? Like we used to in the old days. So instead now I can use it with the A and it'll be okay because they say it in all the songs, so I can say it too.
So for context, right? It's true, and you're right. We got a lot of our, white colleagues and friends who always be like, "Oh my God, I was at a Lil Wayne concert, and I just felt compelled." Right? Sure. I'm white, so I can say it, and I love Lil Wayne. But so for context, what he was doing, he was actually coming for Joe Biden's son for calling his lawyer the N-word through text messages. If you haven't seen that story making its rounds, but here's my thing. I don't like when people like him, see, this is like when people like Shapiro and people like Tucker get involved in the conversation, right? And say who can say it and what the context is and how to move it and things like that. That's where the issue lies for me. Stay out of Black folks' business. Let us handle the situation. Don't speak on anything for us only because you wanted to make Biden look bad. It wasn't because you were trying to really have an actual unignorant conversation. Right. It was because you were trying to just make your case that the left and that people who are progressive or people who are Biden supporters, look who you have as a look who you have as a leader. That's what they were trying to do. You know how they do. Wherever they can find something this small, they'll make something big out of it. But go ahead and roll that footage so we can hear what he said out of his own mouth.
Here is the full story about Hunter Biden. Now, again, I will say that when it comes to the use of the N-word, there is a difference between calling a Black person an N-word with an ER at the end and in jest, using the N-word that ends with an A to describe a white person. Now, the latter is also really crude and gross and stupid. It's not racist in the same way that it would be if you were just shouting the N-word at a Black person, which is the height of racism, obviously, in American society. But here is the story from the UK Daily Mail. Hunter Biden used the N-word multiple times in conversation with his white $845 per hour lawyer, his text messages reveal. The shocking text may prove embarrassing for his father, Joe Biden, who just last week gave a speech decrying racism on the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa massacre and has sought to portray racial justice as the top priority for his administration. The president's son joked in a January 2019 text to corporate attorney George Maziris about a big penis and said to the lawyer, "I only love you because you're Black and true dat, N-word." In another text a month earlier, he wrote to the Chicago lawyer saying, "How much money do I owe you? Because," with two A's, "because, N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates." Maziris wrote back, "That made me snarf my coffee because he's a lawyer and lawyers know that you're subpoenaed." I will say that when it comes to the use of the N-word, there is a difference between calling a Black person an N-word with an ER at the end and in jest using the N-word that ends with an A to describe a white person. Now, the latter.
He's so out of touch.
So here it is. He for him to speak about it he's about to give a history lesson about that word to the people. That's the problem. Now, Biden's son was wrong. Now, if that's his relationship with the person that he was texting, that's them. That was on their personal. Here's my thing. Make sure first of all, white folks, don't say it. You shouldn't say it. But if you say it and you're just kicking it with your Black friends and your Black friend is okay with that, keep that amongst your Black friend and you. Yeah, you need to keep that contained. Don't bring it out, because when it hits the fan and we start smelling that, okay, it's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be a problem, bro. It's gonna
be a problem. So, but here I say this to say, Shapiro's voice bothers me. He doesn't look, and I always say he's kind of handsome to me. I say that all the time, but he doesn't. The voice that comes out of it is terrible.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like Tucker Carlson is he ain't got it. He ain't got it. But this guy, he looks like he says the word. He looked like he used to have black friends and he wanted to say the word so bad back in the day. And he's like coming up to them, hey, can I say that word? Da-da-da-da. I sound like Steve Urkel, but that's exactly what I feel like he was doing. But I just don't think white folks should feel like they're experts when it comes to the word. That's all I gotta say. I don't care what he was trying to do. I know he was trying to throw a wrench in the situation with the Bidens and their kids and them being racist. I believe that all white folks have had some racist occurrence with them. Kind of moment. And maybe it was by accident or maybe whatever. I feel like they all have. And some of them have black friends who allow them to say that. I have a neighbor that I grew up with who calls himself Haitian, and he does lives every day on Facebook, and he'd be like, yo, my, and I'm like, for the love of God, I want to say his name, but I'm not going to. But for the love of God, Ben Shapiro, I'm going to call him Ben Shapiro.
Right.
Stop. So I had my brother reach out to him and tell him, hey, yo, if the other boys on the block see you saying this, it's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah, right.
I don't care if your kids are black. Like you my boy, and the boys on the block know you too. But because you've made it public, they can't save you if something happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's so much. There's so much with that word, though. There's so much that, how they say that, there's so much in a name. There's so much with that word. So when black folks use it, we took it, made it something else. People get mad about it. You either use it or you don't. Some black folks don't want to use it. Some do want to use it. And we can say it in many different ways with different voice tones. And it means something different. It could be like, boy, stop, or
man,
boy, stop, or that boy. We don't know his name, but you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we can do that, but white folks getting involved in the conversation, trying to tell us how to say it with the ER or the A at the end. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's none of your business, man.
Stand down,
Shapiro. That is stand down. Go
Shapiro
away.
Shapiro and Biden's son. You shouldn't be saying it.
And Hunter asked, let's talk about Hunter for a second. How the hell you let the text messages get out? Like you say he got a black friend. I heard he say something about a black BBC. There we go. Okay. And then the Hennessy
That's kind of sketchy to me. What have you been looking at? Like what?
That's real sketchy. Yeah. What kind of relationship y'all got? And then you talking about the Hennessy rates. Like y'all must got a real good relationship. Because I want to know what the lawyer said back in return.
I want to know what he said. I want to know what he sent.
I can reenact that conversation.
Look, we are not going to. We are not going to. But it just goes to show y'all need to look. Hunter be in a lot of drama. He done dated his his sister-in-law. It's a lot with that whole situation. They just got to get it together. Biden family, too much drama of y'all's is coming out. Who are you guys working with? Who are your people? Like Park Cannon was just saying, you have to have your 5 spices. You need to get the book. They need to get the book.
They need to
get the book about how to run properly. They do, because they don't have the correct people around them. They need to get Park Cannon's book on how to run properly in office. But listen, let's take it to some Black Joy. We are at the 10:08 hour, top of the hour, and we have a few more minutes. I want to shake things up. I know it's Friday. What do we have to drop in here, David? Surprise us.
Yeah.
What is happening here? Who dropped this one? If y'all got
look at what it's back.
Who did this? It's the one in the background. He's getting prepared. He's like, oh, grandma. Where am I? Hey, I cannot deal with on Friday, what are you really doing? If y'all not in the after party vibing like this, when DJ X3C plays, what are you really doing? If my grandmother can move like that, RIP to my grandmother.
Man.
But listen, this, I think I will be that kind of older person, whether I'm in the church or whether I'm out at a party or whether when I'm with my kids at their party. Mom, you're embarrassing me. No, sweetie, the ancestors just told me to do what I need to do. Okay. The ancestors just told me to F it up just now. The ancestors told me to just eat. Okay, the ancestors told me, did you have Megan these before or after Megan? I had them before Megan because I'm from Florida, South Florida to be exact, where it was bopping. We ain't know about Megan these, sweetie. We was booty popping at the age of 2. Okay. Okay. So I gotta show the kids what's happening. It was the ancestors that whispered to me to fuck it up.
Hey, what it say? Hey, fuck it up, sis.
Hey, you got exactly.
When they looking back at the ancestors because they heard it whisper.
Look, sorry, Ben. Didn't mean to curse. Look, sorry, Ben. Didn't mean to curse. Swear jar. I'm putting 5 on it. But anywho, listen. Play us some more. I'm trying to get live on this Friday. Play us some more. Some more. What else we got?
Is that your own hair?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's getting really long.
I see that. Wow. Been letting it grow for years then?
Since I was born, 1999. My parents never cut it.
Never ever.
Y'all, so for context, she's getting the vaccine, right? So she's getting the vaccine or shot, and then she says the person that's supplying is a white person, and white people don't really know about black hair, like they just don't. So she asked her, "Is that her real hair?" Now she has in what we call like knotless braids. It's basically when you start the braid without a knot, and she has it down to her waist, which, is the way to rock the knotless braids, honey. But she has them down to her waist, and she's asking her, is that your real hair? She's looking like, girl.
Right now.
But she lies. Baby. She lies to her and says, yes, I've been growing this hair out since I was little. I never cut it. She says, wow, I can certainly tell. Lady, no, you can't, because it's not my real hair. Anyway, y'all gotta stop. Like, is that your real hair? No, it's not my real hair. And we don't go to white folks asking, is that your real hair? And y'all be having in clip-ins, y'all be having in extensions, y'all be having in the bead and press-ons. You think that we don't know? We do know. Y'all wear wigs too. Don't ask no black person if that's her real hair because it seems exotic to you because she's black and has long hair. When I clip out my hair is up to my chest. People get confused because I have a lot of hair. That's why my buns are so big, and sometimes they're at the top of the camera. And when I wear my hair out, they're confused. They're like, wow, is that your real hair? Yeah, next time I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is my real hair. I paid for this wig. I paid for it. Shouts out to lovemehair.com, who has the best wigs in the world. And I paid for this wig. It is mine. It's mine. It's my real hair. At the top, I wear it out straight if I want to. And if I want to, I wear curly clip-ins, and those give the whole effect too. The only reason why she asked, and no offense to this white woman doing her job, but let's stop doing that. Another tidbit for y'all white folks, not only for you guys not to tell people what the word N-I-G-G-E-R or A stands for or how to say it or what it applies to, do not look at black folks with long hair and think that's exotic. Black folks have hair of all shapes, different textures and sizes. That's one of our powers. It's one of our beauties. If I go in the shower right now, hair gets super curly, and here it is, and I can pull it out just like this and confuse y'all people because they be like, why is her hair so long right now? How did that happen? It's not exotic for a black person to have long hair. Okay. It's not African to see somebody with braids because she didn't have any dreads. Right. It's not the same thing. So please don't ask us anymore, is that our real hair? Because what we're going to do all 2021 for the rest of our lives, tell you it is.
Right. Okay. And when I tell y'all on that thread, it was some more like reactions from other people.
Some more comments.
Gosh.
I need to see them. Do we have them up? So here we go. Oh, I thought this was the reaction.
Oh no!
Man, what that is? That's some mayonnaise.
This first time getting his feet done.
Oh.
Really hot rock.
Oh gosh.
No, 748.
With the vibrating chair. Yeah,
Oh, that's
dumb
a good one.
shit.
Whoever did
Yeah,
it,
you know,
did them really
fellas,
nice.
man. If you don't go get your feet done, man, I suggest y'all go get them done, man. Cause I'm for sure going bike.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Ooh, bitch, I'm finna go crip walk with some open toe sandals. I'm talking about keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster, yeah. I don't know what they talking about, son. I'm outside. Look at my toes.
Yes.
Look at.
So if you have not ever gotten a pedicure, because I took my ex to get a pedicure, and he absolutely loved it. And then I seen him again right after the fact, and he was keeping it up, and I was so pissed. And I'm like, I done put you on to something, and look at you. You would have never had good toes if it wasn't for me. But if you never experienced a pedicure, go experience a pedicure. Go to your local nail salon or whatever and experience a pedicure. Make sure that where you're going to sanitize, they have a bag in the tub.
In the tub.
They have stuff that they throw away right after you. Like, make sure. But enjoy a pedicure. Please go and get one. It will change your life. Put ear pods in your ears or some headphones in your ears and put on the little button and let it on your back. Right. Let it massage all that stress that you have from the corporate job, from a long day, from your kids yelling in your ear. And go get a massage.
Yeah,
Please,
I got one on Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah?
And I tell man, what? These feet look so good.
Yeah, look,
I can't move this camera.
Oh.
I can't lift my leg up that high on the camera. No, don't worry about it. But they're so pretty. I'm like, let me put some open toe shoes on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's me. When my toes are not together, sweetie, they are, and I'm a former dancer. So feet used to be like, I'm throwing up all kinds of signs. But once I got my babies done, they were good. So my feet went through a lot in life. They went through a lot in life, but they're beautiful when they get done, but they have scars to tell you where they've been, the stories that they've gone through. They do. They a little rough right now, but but I'm headed over on Saturday to definitely get these feet done. I'm excited about that.
I know, right?
About that. So what else do we have? Because I'm looking at David telling us we have no, we're not doing that one, David.
We ain't doing that one.
We're not doing that one, sir.
Hell no.
We definitely aren't doing that one.
To the no.
David, what else we got?
Oh,
Who is dropping these? It has to be you, Bubba.
Yes. Child, I went on it was like a spree.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is not your FAMU.
When I tell you, it was like this long set of clips of black men just living life and having fun, man. I was over here crying yesterday because I enjoyed it.
I love to see them doing their thing. This man is liturgically dancing very well.
Yes.
Listen, he did that pirouette. Come on, leg extension. Hold it. Oh, this is beautiful. Alvin Ailey, who? Absolutely. Let me say something.
Yes.
Here is the thing, right? He reminds me of my dance teacher who actually used to dance with Alvin Ailey. Shouts out to Orches's Contemporary Dance Theater, FAMU.
Come on, Orches's.
Orches's Contemporary.
I was about y'all.
Yes, listen. Listen, he's giving leg extension. This is what, and I love because the move that he does with his head. My dance teacher used to say, wig. No wig, right? No wig, but the move he used to tell us because he was bald and he used to have us do that. And I miss it. I think this is so artistic.
Yes.
What's funny is they'll try to sexualize men who are dancers or dance like this, or just, automatically say, oh, he's gay or whatever. Men can be dancers too, and they could be liturgical dancers and be a part of the art just as well as women can be. And as we can, this man is talented
as hell. And when I saw it, like I said, I'm like, just goes to show that black man, we can do any and every damn thing we want to, man.
Yes.
Don't let nobody stop you and tell you that you can't.
No, I love me a black man. I love to see black men winning. I love to see black men standing in their own. I love to see black men doing what they need to do. It's everything to me. I absolutely adore it. Is this another clip of another black man doing something great?
It is a freaking amazing.
Let me see what he got. Absolutely. Look at that. We could make anything art, y'all.
And we know this Florida. It looks like Florida.
Definitely. South Florida, period.
Yes, straight South Florida.
Yeah. Like, we make anything look good. We make it art.
And just for the simple fact, this makes me feel good because it's all these black people that ain't causing no trouble. They just out here riding their bikes, having a good time.
That's all they're doing. And you know it's Florida. It's a Christmas tree, and he got on a sleeveless shirt. It was a Christmas tree in the background. It's palm trees. That's definitely Florida. Small, colorful houses in the colors orange, pink, and all that, because my mama's house is over there, and it's pink. So, yeah, definitely. It's Florida.
Definitely Florida.
Definitely Florida. But, yes, look at, like, they're causing no trouble. And, these are not thugs. These are not criminals. These are not. And even if they were, like, it is what it is. We're just having a good time outside. Like, and it's occasions and events like this that police officers occasionally pull up to more times than not, and tell them to stop doing what they're doing because it's disturbing the community. So, but shout out to black men, yo. Shout out to black women. Shout out to black men. Shout out to black people. I'm always going to be rooting for you. Some of y'all sometimes, Candace Owens, we can't do what we need to do. We can't root for you. We can't. I want you to be free, but you got to free yourself, sis. You got to free yourself. But all other black people, I'm shouting for you. Shout out to, Issa Rae. Shout out to Yvonne Orji, who dropped her book. That is Bamboozled by Jesus. I need that book. Yvonne Orji is Molly from Insecure, who you guys have said I looked like. Some people are saying on Twitter, were saying, oh, Rebecca is Molly from Insecure. I don't know. I think her character and me on the show may be kind of similar, or her as a person, not her character on the show. Her as a person. I think we're kind of similar. But I absolutely love her. She just did this book. But black women, black men, we are all literally so amazing. And if we just tap into how amazing we are, we could be on the street doing liturgical dancing, speaking to people's lives, right? Going viral and getting our moment, doing things that are using our gifts. Because all of us have gifts, man.
Yes, all of us.
We have gifts. So what's this one? Oh,
this Pops. This... Okay. This for us, Rebecca.
Yo, Pop, yo, let's get it. Here we go. Whoa, whoa. Damn. Woo.
Hey.
Here we go again, y'all.
Hey. This is a family. We got a family scroll for the song, baby. Hey. What's up? Do it for you on air.
Come on now. Uh-oh. Hey. You make me happy.
Shout out to Florida A&M University.
Come on, let's get y'all.
Yes, you can tell.
Are y'all dancing right now?
You stood right beside me.
If y'all dancing like me, y'all need to drop them lion heads in the chat, y'all.
I want
y'all dancing right now. Hey.
I really love you. You should know. I'm gonna make sure I'm right. Let's get it. Here we go. Whoa, whoa.
Hey, we're going to run it back real quick. I want everybody right now. It's Friday. Wherever you are in the house, I need y'all to be dancing right now. Pops is going to sing for us. and I need you guys to get ready. Two-step with it. Are you about to get that, Bubba?
Let's get it. Here we go.
You ready?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He started over.
But I'm ready. Let's go. Hey.
Woo. Here we go again, y'all.
Y'all know that two-step from the barbecue.
Damn.
Come on now.
Okay.
You make me happy. This you can tell.
The left side to everything.
Stood right beside of me. And I won't forget that I really love you. You should know. I'm gonna make you survive.
Hey, before I let go. That out somewhere. We done came. Exercise. I hope y'all was dancing just now. For our listening audience, I hope that you guys got up and enjoyed that moment and were dancing just now. No, Bubba ain't gonna hurt his hips. He got new hips. He got hip replacements. I got a reminder, Bubba got new hips, okay? Stop playing with him. Put some respect on his hips.
Stop playing with me in the comments.
Ooh, y'all.
Tell them about the breath. I need to stop smoking.
It was a good Friday. Look, that was the exercise just now.
It was. So
that was an exercise just now. Look,
and then
Mama was dancing today. We had her dancing today. We had Pop. I hope that you guys were up and enjoying yourself and dancing. Listen, shout out to everyone who has been rocking with us this week.
Yes.
I hope that, with Ben's absence, you guys were still rolling with us. I know a lot of you guys were introduced to us through Ben. For those who know for this platform, a lot of you guys knew me already for the former content, but I'm happy to see that you guys are seeing us grow. And another push, I'm going to keep pushing this, guys, because the more that you guys support us, the more it allows us to be here with you, give you guys a good time, give you guys a show, and also be free so that we can invest more of our time in refining, like it or not, making it better for you guys each and every day, and getting you guys the representatives and getting you guys the experts on situations and the stories, and particularly Black experts on these stories, to make sure that you guys know that these Black people exist, and to give them more of a platform and amplify their voices right here on Like It or Not. So in order for us to do this, we need your help. So head over to patreon.com/like it or not and become a Patreon today. Please do. Please do. Please do. Please do. We are so ready to be free. We're so ready to continue to give us our time and give you guys our stories, bring you the stories, and just have a really good time with you guys every month. We are what some people are calling us like the political breakfast club, right? We give you politics, but we give you culture, right? And we give you reality, and we give you our hearts. So I love you guys. Mina, it's 10:27. I think I want to give you some time to just take it out with the crew and play some good old music. Bubba, you ready for it?
We can do that. We can give y'all a little bit this morning, y'all. Rebecca, love you, mean it. Thank you, sister. And everybody, if you're already a patron as well, too, bring your friends. Tell your friends about it. Let's get your friends in here as well, too, and let them know what's going on. We love y'all. We mean it's all. Gonna give y'all a few minutes this morning.
But I'll be gone. For me, there ain't no other. But you just couldn't.
Shout out to everybody, man. We love y'all too, man. Thank y'all so much for everything, all the support, man. We couldn't do none of this without y'all. We appreciate it.
There is something about you.
Hey, and shout out to David. I can't let my set in or go on without thanking David for everything that he's done all week. David, you are the goddamn man, bro. Appreciate you so much, David. Thank you, sir. And like, this man got the clip playing in the background and playing the music. This is amazing. Thank you, David.
I'm gonna pack my bags all over the door. I won't be back. You see me no more. No. You better leave me alone. I miss you, but I'm sick and tired of loving you. I don't know why, just know that I do. Please leave me alone. I'm gonna miss you, but I'll be gone. You know I don't wanna fight ya, but there is something about ya. When they wanna scream and shout, you let me hanging out. I think you never leave me, but you change. Some people say money gets you everything, but it don't make me happy. It's not the reason my heart sings. 'Cause what I've got, couldn't put a price on that. 'Cause I got something real. I got love. I got love. I got love. Yeah. Some people cool. Some people try to get tired. You don't have a reason. It's hard to make it all.
Mama is jamming for the song.
'Cause what I've got surely makes the world go round. 'Cause I got something.
All right, y'all. This is gonna do it for your boy DJ Bubba, y'all. DJ Bubba, DJ exclusive. DJ Bubba is my former name from college. Anyway, y'all, we thank y'all again so much for everything that y'all do. Shout out to everybody. Ben, we love you, brother David. Appreciate you. Rebecca, shout out to you, sister. We held it down in Georgia Fort. You did the damn thing this week too, man. Love you all. We will see y'all on Monday, bright and early 8 o'clock with On the Clock with Georgia Fort. Then following, like it or not, with Ben, Rebecca, and my stuff, y'all. It's going down. We will see y'all on Monday.